Week 2 of the NFL is in the books. And guys, what have we learned? That the Buffalo Bills could be the most dangerous team in the NFL if they run the football, of course. But we're going to tell you more about that next on the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Locked On family? Let's get locked in. Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find and follow me on Twitter at DP_NFL. I am a national scout over with the Draft Network, as well as the host of the Locked On Clemson Football Podcast. Guys, happy Tuesday, and thank y'all for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day, Monday through Friday. Thank you so much for being our everydayers, and as always, the champ is here, Mr. LSU himself, my partner in crime, Keith Sanchez. You can find and follow him on Twitter at The Talent Code. Keep talking to him, baby.
What's up, Locked On family? This is Keith Sanchez, senior draft analyst with the Draft Network, man. And like my guy DP says, 2019 national champ with those LSU Tigers, man. But you know why we're here, right? We're here to bring you that championship level content surrounding the NFL draft 24/7, 365. Your favorite dynamic duo, man. When it comes to everything NFL draft, whether that's college, whether that's NFL, man, we do it all over here on the Locked On NFL Draft channel. So make sure to like and subscribe right now, man. DP, man, we have a hell of a slate for today, man. We're going to get into what have we learned, right? In the intro, you talked about the Buffalo Bills. We're going to give you a rookie report. Why? Because rookies matter and rookies make plays week in and week out. And then we're going to do what we were coaches in college football. Now we're coaches in the NFL, handing out the game balls at the end of the game. DP, before we get this started, man, which this is an exciting show, I'm ready to get this started. Why don't we give a shout out to our title sponsor first?
Today's episode of Locked On NFL Draft is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Keith, as we always say, it's week 2. What have we learned? What did we learn from week 2 in the NFL? When I asked that question to you, Keith, what is your answer?
What have we learned, DP? And I'm about to sound like Dan Campbell because I didn't learn anything. It was just validation and validation for the people. You know what that is, DP? Eric Bieniemy can coach football. That's what should be a storyline. Eric Bieniemy can actually coach football. It wasn't just Andy Reid doing everything. He has the Commanders sitting at 2-0, right? And Sam Howell is sitting there with. He went 27-39 the first week. They beat them. The first week they beat Arizona. He went 19-31 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Then this past weekend, right, 27-39, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. He has Sam Howell looking like a man, can I say it? Potentially a franchise quarterback, right? Like they may not have to be in the quarterback race. So he's come in, and that was a good, what people say is a good Denver defense. DP, they dropped 35 points on them. They came back, right? So you're talking about making halftime adjustments. You're talking about using your offensive weapons. So DP, like I said, I'm taking the Dan Campbell route to where I got validation that Eric Bieniemy can coach football.
No, he can, Keith, and like you talked about, with Sam Howell being essentially a rookie in his first year, right? Yep. First year as a starter, and there's going to be peaks and valleys. He's going to deal with some lumps and bruises and everything like that. But he's got an offensive coordinator / assistant head coach, and Eric Bieniemy, that knows how to coach him through that. And you saw that in this game because Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos came out like game busters. Okay, they came out ready to roll. Sean Payton in that offense, they were balling early on.
Russ was cooking.
The kitchen might have burned down in the second half, but Russ was cooking in the first, right? And then the Commanders' offense just it didn't look stable early on, and then that second half came, and that's when you saw a veteran offensive-minded coach and Eric Bieniemy, and not just a veteran-minded coach, Keith, a Super Bowl champion coach who knows how to make the right adjustments and get it has the phrase "have your finger on the pulse." He has his finger on the pulse of his players and of his team. And I loved what I saw from him, Keith. For me, what did I learn? I learned this, man. If the Buffalo Bills will run the football and get this type of performance out of James Cook, 17 carries, 123 yards. He didn't have a rushing touchdown or anything, but to run the ball the way that they were able to, Keith, if they can consistently do this week in and week out, and I believe that they could, right? I think it's more so of a want to. I don't think it's a skill issue, Keith. I think it's a will issue. They were balanced yesterday. Josh Allen was 31 of 37, but they ran the ball 35 times for 183 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns, right? So James Cook got the bulk of the carries. You had Damian Harris and Latavius Murray getting kind of those red zone carries, but still yet, I'm not saying you got to rush for 183, almost 200 yards every week. But if you can give me 130, 140 per week, I think this will make them the most dangerous team in the NFL. You have an elite level quarterback, man. Yeah, I know he's had the turnover. He plays hero ball. He's got a little bit too much Brett Favre in him, right? And I get it. But one thing that we've consistently said, Keith, when it gets to those cold months for this team, they don't play as they don't play up to the temperature that they're in. So when it gets cold, they don't play smash mouth football. They get smashed in the mouth. They get punched in the jaw. And it feels like they can't rebound, right? We saw that against Cincinnati. But if you can run the ball like this, and it's 10 degrees and it's snowing out, and you can give you got a three-headed monster run game with Cook, Murray, and Damian Harris, and you can control the clock. Josh Allen doesn't have to be elite. Sometimes, Keith, I appreciate, me, I'm a toolsy guy for quarterbacks. I want my quarterback to have those tools. I want them to be an elite level type of player where they can elevate the scheme and the scheme doesn't have to elevate them. But sometimes you don't need your quarterback to do that, right? You can win with your quarterback being a la the Brock Purdy's, right? If your quarterback, if we can get Josh Allen at times, you can run the ball. Everybody else lifts him up and he don't have to lift them up. I think that will make them one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous, offense in the NFL. Stephon Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. The offensive line is solid. Gabe Davis seems to be showing some more consistency in this year. Man, if they can just run the football week to week, man, run it week to week, 37 to 35, pass the run ratio, give me that every week. And this is an offense that everyone should be afraid of come week 17 heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, DP. So it's similar. It's almost like playing Madden sometimes, right? And when you're playing Madden, you're sitting there and you check the run pass ratio at the end of the game, right? 9 times out of 10, you probably drop back 50 times to throw the football, and you probably actually called the run 7 times, right? The offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, he can't get caught up that way. And I get it. You have Josh Allen. You want to use that new shiny toy, but like you said, sometimes the most important thing is just to be versatile, to be multiple in what you can do, to be balanced in what you can do. So I think that's definitely the biggest thing for the Buffalo Bills, DP. And that was a statement type game, right? Because even the Las Vegas Raiders, I want to say they jumped out early, right? I believe they went up 3-0, 7-0 early on. Like it was a football game early. And that's all the time to where the pressure can reshift, right? So it's like, oh man, here we go, Buffalo. Are y'all gonna win? Are y'all gonna lose? Buffalo doesn't have it, right? Like everybody's eager for that storyline. And I don't want, like I said last week, right? It's like they were the NFL darlings. This year, people are kind of tired of them, right? In a weird way. And I don't know why, because the Buffalo Bills are a very talented team. So, it's just weird how that played out. But DP, man, as we talked about what we learned, right? Now we got to talk about what actually happened with those rookies. So coming up next, man, we're getting into these rookie performances because they were some of the best performances in all the NFL football this past weekend. I'm sorry. So we're going to get into the rookie report coming up next.
With storms, shortages, pandemics, reliance on overseas travel, and supply chain issues, we need to be prepared now more than ever for the worst and unexpected times. Everyone should feel and be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during these unexpected moments. That's why Jace Medical offers the Jace Case. The Jace Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you a peace of mind so you are not just hoping that you have access to the medication in an emergency. But Jace Medical also makes sure that you have the medication in hand. Jace Medical is simple. They handle everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Don't get caught unprepared. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jace Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using the promo code Locked On at checkout on jacemedical.com. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Guys, right now, new customers, not old, but brand new customers, can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when they place a bet of $5. You heard me correctly. If you're brand new to the site, you can get $200 in bonus bets back, fully guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time and place to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use. Okay, it's super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season right now. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. The rookie report. It's time to check in on the youngins in the NFL, Keith, and a guy that I think we both liked when we watched this tape, this past draft cycle, Marvin Mims for the Denver Broncos, wide receiver, drafted. I think he was drafted earlier than some people anticipated, right? I think he was a third-round pick or whatnot, and then some people may have had him, later in the draft. But I like this game, the speed, the deep threat that he brings, and that was an element that this offense missed. Well, Keith, they found it versus the Washington Commanders, and they found it early. Right, this young man, he only had 2 receptions, but were they 2 big receptions? 2 for 113, and he had a long touchdown versus the Washington Commanders, Keith. And like I said, like we talked about in the first segment, at the beginning of that game, the Denver Broncos offense was cooking. Russ was cooking, and Marvin Mims helped that. Right, the deep ball where he just separates. I think it was like a deep post route, and it was just easy money, pitch and catch. Russ threw his rainbow deep ball, and it just dropped into the bucket of Marvin Mims, man. But I want to see more of him getting involved into this offense. I think Sean Payton will be benefited offensively if they get this young man the football more. But his speed, his deep play, his big play ability was on display. And it's something, like I said, it's something that this offense missed. Cortland Sutton is kind of the big possession guy, right? Jerry Jeudy can play as your movement Z, but especially in the slot, he's their route running technician, right? So he could be kind of your slasher. Let Cortland Sutton be your power forward. But who is your shooting guard? Who is that guy that's going to take the top off, who can really go and hit the deep ball, hit the 3 ball? That's Marvin Mims. So I wanted to give him a shout out in this rookie report. I like what I saw from him, and I'm hoping to see more.
Yeah, so DP, my rookie report, I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. That's what I'm going to go with, man. I had a couple different ways I thought about it. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. Finish out the day. First of all, the Falcons are 2-0, right? They drafted a running back in the top 10, and they're 2-0. So, I'm not going to speak to that, right? But he went for 19 carries, 124 yards. He had 4 receptions for 48 yards, DP. So you're talking about doing it all. He almost had 200 all-purpose yards, right? And then when you watch the game, DP, I love the fact that we talk about that pony backfield, right? Putting 2 backs in the backfield, and all they're doing is they're orbiting Bijan, right? It's sometimes he comes in motion all the way from the outside receiver position, right? They put him in motion, they orbit him around the back of the quarterback, right? Then do that kind of RPO-ish type handoff, right, where he's reading what Desmond Ridder is reading to hand the ball off to Tyler Algier to pull it. Now Bijan Robinson is in the flats, right, with in the open space, right, to where you can deliver the football to him. And it's a simple play design, and they probably ran it 3, 4, 5 times yesterday, just effective. Like, you know what, do it again. Let's see if it works, right? And Bijan consistently delivered on it, man. And you just see how, and this was an underrated part of his game, DP, as highly rated he was felt like his pass catching was underrated, right? As far as him being the total package and an offensive weapon. And you seen that yesterday. So my rookie report, man, I'm giving all the credit to Bijan Robinson, because I thought he performed really well. He's carrying this team, you know what I'm saying? Like, just as far as what he's doing. And like I said, shout out to Arthur Smith, because I don't want to not only give Bijan credit. Tyler Algier is a second-year player, but he's using both of those guys, and those guys are being kind of the engine of this offense, and they're working off of it.
No, 100%. You know, shout out to them. They're 2-0, 2 tough wins, right? Being physical, and that's what Arthur Smith wants. This is Atlanta. These are the Atlanta Titans. You know what I mean? Like, this is exactly what this is. Your passing game is going to be very average, right? Even though you got 2 high-profile caliber, passing options in Drake London and Kyle Pitts, but you're going to run the ball. You're going to be physical. You're going to make everything a dog fight for opposing all defenses where they have to strap. Listen, you can't be out there playing with your chin strap unbuckled against this offense, because they're going to run the ball at you. And I'm just hoping that they can get the passing game going a little more. Desmond Ridder keeps going and develop and get the ball to Pitts and Drake London more than 3 or 4 times a game.
And they tried, DP, because I watched that game almost in its entirety. They tried, they made the effort to, like, you can tell there were plays designed specifically for Pitts, but it seems as though it's still confusing for them, right? Like, just how to use him. It seems like it's still confusing. And I'll even say Jonnu Smith looked more effective at times, right? Because they brought Jonnu Smith over. Jonnu Smith was with Arthur Smith in Tennessee, and it seems like he knew what to do with Jonnu Smith's skill set, right? Just with the bootleg action, things like that. And it seemed like Jonnu Smith fit into this offense. And then when it's Kyle Pitts, it's like Kyle Pitts, let's call a Kyle Pitts play, right? That doesn't necessarily fit within the scheme of the offense. Like, it's not naturally and it's not seamless.
Which is weird, because it totally goes against my mantra. Draft for the plan. Know what you're going to do when you draft a player. And I truly, Keith, crazy enough to even add to that conversation, might be time to move Kyle Pitts to wide receiver, let Jonnu Smith play tight end, and now you have Drake London, and then Kyle Pitts as your big twin towers, your X and your Z, right? You think about, what was it, the Bucks had Vincent Jackson, and I forget the other receiver name, but they had 2 big receivers and everything. We've seen that throughout time. Heck, you look at the Chargers with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So we've seen it, right? So that's how I think that they should probably look at it now, and allow him to just continue to develop as a wide receiver. But Keith, last but not least, man, C.J. Stroud, and I know that they lost the game. First of all, shout out to Anthony Richardson, because he A-Rich is looking like the real deal out there, man.
Yeah, listen, the project quarterback, right? He looks the most, I don't want to say most ready. Yeah, but he looks like he's like more like ahead. He's further ahead than what people expected, right? Because this is the second game and he went out with a concussion, right? Where he just looked to simply have somewhat of control, and the game wasn't moving too fast for him. So I just want to give shout out to Anthony Richardson, but let's go ahead and give C.J. Stroud his credit also.
No, 100%. It sucks because I wanted to see those two continue to battle, because I know that they're really, they're cool, but they're competitors. And you saw that, in that game. And the Texans didn't win, but C.J. Stroud, man, 30 of 47, 384, 2 passing touchdowns, the anticipation, the ball placement, the accuracy, and he's behind an offensive line. I think it was missing like 3 starters or 2 starters, something like that.
Kenyon Green, I believe, is on IR. Laramie Tunsil
was out, I think,
and Titus Howell was out. So
that's right.
I think their only starter was Shaq Mason, I believe. I think that was the only guy that was crazy.
Which is crazy, right? So Keith, he's been sacked 11 times in 2 games, right? But he's out there standing tall, delivering the football, and he's what they say, staring down the barrel and not blinking. That's what C.J. Stroud is doing, and that's what he did against that Indianapolis Colts defense, man. I loved what I saw from him, and I think I tweeted this out after, I think it may have been during training camp, that if there was ever going to be a year for Nico Collins, big wide receiver from Michigan, to break out, it was going to be this year with C.J. Stroud, and he had a big day. I benched him in fantasy because I forgot to put him in my lineup. I still won. Shout out to Bijan and a couple other guys that won me that matchup, Lamar Jackson and all those dudes. I still won, But man, you talk about a big day from Nico Collins, man. C.J. Stroud, rookie report. I got to give him his love, man.
Yeah, DPI fantasy. I'm hurting right now, baby. I'm on my way to what it
2-0
is
right now.
0-2. Yeah, I'm 0-2, man. I had DeAndre Swift sitting on the bench with 28 points. So and Saquon Barkley is, he's injured with the ankle, and he's on my team also. So it's going right on par for fantasy football for me. But DP, let's talk about the real thing, man. The real thing, and we're doing what we transitioning into NFL coaches. We jumping into that locker room and we're handing out game balls. So game ball segment coming up next.
Today's episode of Locked On NFL Draft has been brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers, all right? All you have to do, guys, is it's really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy football app. So listen to me. What I'm picking on Prize Picks this week, real easy. Josh Allen for more than 2 passing touchdowns and Lamar Jackson more than 1 passing touchdowns this up-and-coming week in the NFL. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use the promo code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. The coaches just walked into the locker room, and it's time to not hang up, but it's time to hand out the game balls. Keith, for me, man, a guy that I got to show love to and how he's performed this season, Baker Mayfield, right? Knocking off, I get it. He beat the Chicago Bears. Beat the Chicago Bears and everything. But Baker Mayfield, and I tweeted this out, he just looks like a different player right now. You know what I'm saying? And it could be being in a more competent situation, right? When you have a Mike Evans and a Chris Godwin, an offensive line, another run game. And I know he had a lot of those things with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham and Nick Chubb in Cleveland, but he just looks so much different this year. 26 of 34 on Sunday, 317 passing yards and just 1 touchdown. But he looks in control, man. He's delivering the football, and he looks so comfortable. Where I think it was one play where I think he kind of did the little. We've seen Brett Favre, we've seen Pat Mahomes do it, where he just like flip it, right? Like you run the triple option. He's like, he just flips it forward. He's just playing loose. And I haven't seen this from him in quite a long time. Now, is it sustainable? I don't know, right? I don't know if he's back to being Oklahoma Baker, right? And if that's the case, Keith, big time. That's big time news, because you think about what this could mean come the 2024 NFL draft. Because what did we come into the season saying? That, well, of course, Arizona's going to be in the top, right? We're going to put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to be one of the top 3 teams, and they're going to draft one of either Caleb Williams or Drake May. But if for some reason that Baker Mayfield leads this team to a record that is middle of the pack, you pick an 18, 19, where or even in the 20s, say that he leads them to the playoffs, they're going to be completely out of the picture in terms of getting one of these top quarterbacks. But again, that's just the potential of what he can do if he continues to play like this. But my game ball, man, for one of the biggest performances, in my opinion, yesterday, just Baker Mayfield continuing to compound on how well he played in week 1 as well versus the Minnesota Vikings. So shout out to Baker, man.
Yeah, DP, Baker's going to make it. He's going to put the coaching staff, he's going to put the GM, he's going to put fans in a crazy situation, right? Because it's like, okay, super talented quarterback class, right? But is Baker going to come in here and win enough games
and mess this whole thing up?
Yeah, to where we're picking at pick 18, where we're out of range for a quarterback, but we don't necessarily feel like we're Super Bowl contenders either, right? Like, is he going to come in here and do that? And guess what? That's Baker's job. Baker's job is to go out there, win football games, play,
make
play
you want to pay him again.
Yeah, and make you want to pay him, and then be like, oh man, y'all not picking top 5? Y'all gotta pay me. Like that. That's his job, right? So like you said, shout out to Baker. He's had a roller coaster of a career, and this may be the best he's ever played in his NFL career, right? He had that
Right.
one solid year with Cleveland, but I think even that was still, I don't want to call it mediocre, but I thought it was average to slightly above average play and statistics. But he's going out there and ball out, man. And that leads you to one last point, right? We talk about coaching. Coaching matters, man. Maybe in Cleveland, it was, because it was the feud between him and Odell, and then Odell left, won a Super Bowl with Los Angeles, revived his career. Maybe Baker's leaving, he's going to revive his career. DP. Game balls, supposed to hand game balls out the winner, DP. But I cannot overlook this performance. So listen, this team took the loss, but it was a loss that everybody could predict, right? But you lost, you lost the battle, but you may have won the war, right? And you've discovered something. What did you discover? That you have another wide receiver, the Los Angeles Rams, 5th round pick, Puka Nacua, went crazy, right? Like, and he had a hell of a day, DP. 15 receptions, 147 yards. That's when you talk about a complimentary wide receiver to a Cooper Kupp. Right now, this is what you become. You become a little bit more optimistic about the Los Angeles Rams. Like, you know what? Can we squeeze 2 more years out of Matthew Stafford? Sean McVay, do you want to come back? Because we have the wide receivers. Now we just have to get other things in place, right? Aaron Donald, do you want to come back? Because they made that game yesterday close, right? And then they won week 1. So this was another team that was projected to be at the bottom of the NFL. Like, this is not going to be a good football team. Like, this is over with, right? Like, come week 8, they all the way out of it. But early on, they're looking extremely competitive. And like I said, they were in position to win this game, right? Like, they were extremely competitive, in position to win this game. So I wanted to give a shout out to Puka Nacua. I know they lost the game, but man, as a 5th rounder, right, to come in here and play like how he played, like, you bring in, you rejuvenate, you bring in optimism about the future of the Los Angeles Rams.
And Keith, to finish that thought off, man, like, he was the go-to guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tutu Atwell is also having a good start to the season, but the Rams offense, passing offense, was basically funneled through Puka Nacua. The Niners knew it and still didn't have an answer for this young man. And I'm excited to see what this offense totally looks like when Cooper Kupp comes back and Matthew Stafford has Cooper Kupp, Tutu Atwell, and Puka Nacua. And then shout out to Kyron Williams, right? You know what I'm saying? Who they drafted last year out of Notre Dame, running back. And Cam Akers basically looks like he about to be traded and everything. And this young man, he may not be the most athletic or the biggest running back, but he was very good for them in terms of running the ball and catching the ball. He had like 2 touchdowns yesterday and everything like that. So shout out to that run. They got some young weapons on offense that are starting to show up, and I'm excited to see just how this works out. But Puka Nacua, there's another guy who was on my bench. I mean, I could have absolutely just throttled whoever I played yesterday because I had about 40 points sitting on my bench between Puka and Nico Collins. But like I said, I still got the dub.
Yeah, DP. I could tell you this. Hopefully I'm able to snatch him up by this time, right? I'm gonna go grab Puka Nacua. My team is hurting, DP. My team is hurting. But man, to finish up this draft conversation real quick, leave it off with this thought, man. I would love to see come week 7, week 8 where the Rams are, because Les Snead showed you that them draft picks are expendable, baby. I will get rid of them if I feel like we can make a run at it, right? And you don't know. Les Snead, Sean McVay may sit down and be like, hey, how we feel about this team? Like, you know what?
Right.
Let's go figure it out. And they make a big in-season acquisition or 2, right, to try to put their team together to be like, let's make a run for it, right? And let's see what we can do in this NFC that we've called weak, right? Let's see if we can go make a run at the NFC Championship, at the Super Bowl, and we'll see what happens, right? So it's definitely gonna be fun to see how this Los Angeles Rams team plays out, in the next coming weeks. But DP, that was a lot of fun, right? Talking about the show, like I always say, man, the shows are rolling right now because football is back, man. And we always know, man, if you want to hear good football content, right? You say good football content. This is a football podcast and everything that entails NFL draft. Also, man, you tap in with the dynamic duo. Yes, myself, Damian Parsons, man, tweet at us because we tweet back. And like we always like to say, man, shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us every single day. And make sure you come back tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to get the latest episode as soon as it's available. Thank y'all for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every single day, man. Like I said, come and join the conversation again tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter, me at DP_NFL, Keith Sanchez at The Talent Code. Like I said, come and join the conversation again tomorrow. Talk to us because we do talk back on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.